All right, I'm going to stop at the gatehouse really quickly, pulling our fruity friend aside and write a note and ask him, listen here, can you do some of your bardic weird magic and make something that flies to find the boys down wherever they were on the beach?
He does still have the owl. The owl stays
Yeah,
with him for a
so-
while.
Yeah,
Okay,
so I'll
right.
just send out the owl.
Yes, give them this note and have him find whoever and let them know that we are absconding, fucking off, getting out of here, leaving.
Okay, I might as well put my owl friend to good use then.
Sounds wonderful. Be the first thing you did all day. Let's go. And I think we'll head on into the secret area.
Okay, so you and Vash. So Vash, you give that message to your owl and send the owl out to where the front lines are now. Which, as the Dragonborn were coming in to the town, basically you guys kind of ran past these people, but there was a makeshift line that was made, kind of around the chapel building. So all of the island's land forces are currently fighting the Dragonborn in the main city. They haven't reached the castle yet. They're probably the chapel is basically about the halfway point on the island. So they're fighting through there right now. So they're about halfway to the castle. So you got a while before they're able to slaughter enough people to get there. And you still have the castle guard and the archers that are mounted on the walls. So you will have some time. So as you guys go through, you enter into the castle, and as you enter inside, you see that King Joshua appears to be talking to Lorna, the head archer, and he's asking where all of his people have gone off to and what is their statuses. They don't have any idea where Raka, Cham, and Kane are, but you guys both show up, and he knows where Velnos is because he obviously sent him down the hole.
Hello, sire. Could you please start walking this way towards the exit? We need to kind of leave.
King Joshua puts his hand on your shoulder and looks at you. I cannot leave, but my lineage must survive. Take the princess and leave at nightfall. I trust you. Trust both of you.
That's a lot of that's putting quite a lot of me. But I would like to point out that your kingdom is at current being overrun by hundreds of Dragonborn intent on doing terrible, terrible things to your malleable body. And I do think we should just go.
He looks at you and says that the kingdom is already lost, but my lineage can continue. Veronica is due to be married to the Prince of Calgar, but you need to get her there. Once the Calgarians have her, and once they know the full extent of what's happened, then they can send their armies south to stop this. We will probably die, but my line will live on.
I will go. I will obey your orders, my king. I just would like to point out that I do it with the utmost trepidation, and also, this sucks tremendously.
A tear rolls down the side of his face as he hugs you and then pushes you towards the secret passage, which he already figured you knew about because he knows you.
Oh, I definitely know where it is.
All right, and he looks over at Vash and he says, please, she's a fragile girl.
I am not fragile.
You know me, sire. I take really good care of your daughter.
That's why I trust. Now go on. So he ushers you guys towards the back vault as he continues to talk with Lorna about trying to defend the castle as long as possible. So you guys continue down the hallway. Arch, you're basically kind of, you know roughly what to do, so you kind of, you go to the right painting, you pull it aside. It takes you a second to find the right brick, but you find the brick, press it, and the secret door opens with the spiral staircase leading down.
And I absolutely start moving, although I do wait so that Jasper can go first.
Jasper, Vash, I want you to roll a wisdom check to see if you realize what he's allowing you to do.
Oh.
Ladies first.
Oh, fuck you.
Okay, you have no idea what's about to happen. Arch, do what you do.
I feel bad now. Like he just accepted it and walked by me, and I kind of don't want to do anything because he just like, oh, thanks, and moved on. I'm just gonna cast light and just let him go first without doing anything.
Okay, so you cast light and you guys go down. The panda follows you, although the panda kind of looks at you, Arch, and it's not really sure whether or not to trust you. It thinks no, but at the same time, it's very naive and little.
When Jasper's not looking, I give the panda the finger.
Okay, so you guys go down to the bottom of the staircase and you meet Velnos and Veronica at the ship along with Hodgkins.
I'm going to approach them before they get anywhere near anyone else, and I'm just going to ask them for a status report, essentially.
The kingdom is fucked. And we're waiting to leave, I guess, until the others show up, or until we could go now.
You're basically waiting until nightfall, which is a couple hours away.
No shit, princess. I know the kingdom is going to shit. I mean, the status on the castle wasn't breached yet.
Not yet.
Then we still have time.
I mean, hardly. The hundreds of... You don't know. You've been in this hole. Okay. So there are a few hundred, you understand, Dragonborn that have slowly collapsing on the castle and look very intent on sticking sharp things where we don't want them stuck. Unless, of course, you're Jasper. We need to bunker down here and not go out there.
What we need to do is wait for nightfall so we can take this fishing boat, move on to the mainland, and from what I understood, the princess has orders from there on.
Absolutely. We're supposed to meet a prince of Calagar, apparently.
For reinforcements, I assume.
I think for a wedding, but...
Under these circumstances, it would be reinforcements. This marriage was supposed to forward.
Veronica puts her finger up and states that she has something that she should probably explain to you guys. That something that Arch doesn't even know, and Arch is a sneaky shit.
So, I should probably tell all of you, I have very powerful magic imbued in me, so they might be here for me.
Everybody else, so all of you guys are going to have to roll an intelligence roll to figure out what she's talking about, because again, all of you guys have known her basically since birth. Okay, Velnos is an 11, so, okay, well...
Syra has entirely spaced and is currently worried about that man she left guarding her coffee.
Oh yeah, no, he's still there. He didn't move.
I would just
you roll a high enough intimidation roll where that guy's not going to move until a Dragonborn chops his head off. So Vash, you can also roll for that because you're in the room. Okay, and that's plus your intelligence modifier, which I think is only a 1, so that's 8. So you guys have no idea what she's talking about, but she basically further explains that her bloodline, specifically from her mother's side of the family, is they're basically from an ancient line of dragon priests, and the problem is that her blood is magically imbued with a certain magic that, if done in certain ceremonies, can awaken one of or all of 3 legendary dragons. And if they do the ceremony correctly, they would then control those dragons. So they plan on using that when they invade the north. That is the reason why they chose to move on the Nexus. Otherwise, it would just be something they wouldn't care about because it's a relatively small kingdom. Essentially, that's the reason why they want her so badly, and that's the reason why the king is so intent on getting her out of there at all costs.
Oh my god. Okay, so you're some kind of magical battery for dragon gods. Jasper, why didn't you know about this?
She never told me.
Well, Dad said not to tell anyone.
But I'm your best friend. You're supposed to tell me everything.
Yes, but I also wanted to become queen.
You lying little wench.
Well, look, Dad
Jasper,
threatened me.
if I'm her personal bodyguard, I should have known of this as well, but I didn't, so this is pretty confidential information.
This was a well-guarded secret. The only other people that knew about it besides her was her father, and also the panda knew.
But hey, at least I still treat you like a little sister.
Well, then I guess I shouldn't say I told the panda.
Excuse me?
The panda looks up at Vash and gives its best interpretation of a shoulder shrug.
I told you it was a little flea-ridden bag. We could kill it now.
Right now we have more pressing matters than what makes you feel better, my child. We need to make sure that the perimeter is not breached so they do not reach the secret area, because they will be looking.
I'm gonna... Oh, okay.
Well, that's not good.
So the Dragonborn! The Dragonborn are able to sweep through the main town relatively quickly, and they are immediately at the gates within probably about 10 minutes of you guys having that conversation. As they are at the gates, they begin pounding on the gates with battering rams, and we're gonna, because they're already at the castle and have most of it pretty much surrounded, I'm gonna roll to see how long it actually takes them to break down the gate. 14, okay, that's not great. So they are able to break through the gate after about an hour of hitting it with that battering ram. It's relatively barricaded. So they managed to get into the courtyard at this point. Now, the courtyard is well defended because they still have the archers on the outside. So the archers now move their attention to the courtyard and just begin slaughtering a lot of the Dragonborn that first come through. But the problem is that as they keep going through with the battering ram, the hole in the door is getting larger. So more of them are coming through at a time, and the archers are beginning to get overwhelmed. Inside of the castle, the last of the royal guard and the king stand at the throne, and they are basically ready to kind of give their lives at the last minute. Now, while this is happening, the sun is slowly starting to dip below the horizon, so you guys probably got about 20 minutes or so before they breach the outer wall, and you got probably about 45 minutes before the sun is totally underneath the horizon. So you guys can choose to try and do what you want to do at this point. Now I'm going to go back out to the water where Cham, Kane, and Raka are still out there with the dolphins and Raka's griffin.
Hey man, I'm still trying to get to safety. I gotta warn the king.
At this point, it's kind of a moot point because you can see all the Dragonborn with torches and stuff around the castle. You tell that it's surrounded because the castle is kind of up on a hill. Basically, it's built up so it's higher than everything else. So you can see now that the sun's starting to go down, all of the torch lights and shit, and the explosions and the fire that's going on around the castle. So you know you ain't getting in there.
Oh well, cool. Well then I must lock my church.
Your church
then
has been burned to the ground.
I'm out. I'm leaving. I'm just gonna leave.
Okay, so Kane and Cham, are you guys gonna swim out with them?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I'm still hanging on to the dolphins.
Because the dolphins will keep going if you want to, because they don't want to be anywhere near this bullshit.
We're just going to go around the to the back of the castle.
All right, well, that's towards the mainland anyway, so you're going to go in that direction. So that's going to take you about 40 minutes to get there. Now, you guys inside the castle...
Was the owl ever successful in finding those dinks?
Okay. So, unfortunately, the owl did not find them because they were way off the island in the ocean. The owl you sent off towards the beach, which is in a completely different area, so it just kind of flew around for a while and then flew back. Except now that it's flown back, it realizes that the Dragonborn are storming the castle, and I believe it has a 1-hour summon time, so that owl then desummoned.
As useless as I thought it was going to be. Thank you, Jasper.
The owl did land and deliver the message, but it delivered it to the guy you left with the coffee. Now that, so they rolled an 11 to kind of storm through the castle, so eventually they do break down the front gate. The archers are overwhelmed for the most part, and inside, the last of the city guard are fighting. The sun now fully dips below the horizon. It is now nighttime. So the guys that are all in the cave in the back, Hodgkins looks at all of you and says, "Whoever's coming, get on the damn boat!"
I have been on the boat for the past 2 hours.
All right, so you guys are all on the boat. So Hodgkins basically gets ready to let the boat go out to sea, and he goes towards the illusionary wall. You can see through it that you can see kind of a couple of silhouettes of boats that are just like going by in the distance, like way in the distance. But the thing is that it's not a full moon out. It's only a little bit, so you can kind of just see the silhouettes, but they're not going to really be able to see much of you. You kind of might look like a piece of debris to them because it's not a massive ship. All of you guys go out on the boat. The boat goes out into the water, and I'm going to roll a stealth roll to see how good the boat is able to go through with Hotch driving it. So he's actually pretty successful, and he's a good shipwright, so he's going to get some pluses to that. So he's able to successfully navigate the fishing boat out of the cove and through the few little flotilla ships that are circling around to the back of the castle. As you guys are looking back, you see a lot of cannon fire hitting the back of the castle, and you see a lot of the main structures collapse in on themselves as the castle begins to burn. At the same time, everybody on the ship roll a search check, and everybody in the water roll a search check. She's a 10. So she kind of just notices that there's a lot of fire and things. Yeah, I know. No. Your roll's a 15. You're okay. So Arch, you're just kind of staring off at the castle, watching it burn. Raka, you're just kind of staring off at the castle, watching it burn. So all right, so that's a 20. And then Kane. Okay, 23. Okay, so Kane, Velnos, Vash, and Cham. All of you guys are able to... Cham, you and... you and Kane are able to notice that there appears to be a small fishing vessel going through the water near you. Vash, you're able to notice out in the water, along with Velnos, you see what appears to be two small creatures and a griffin and a man swimming in the water.
Can I roll spot?
+7, 18. So yes, you do see them, and you are able to identify them. You see that it is the two frogkin assassin and the paladin, along with his griffin.
I'm going to signal the fisherman to turn so I can rescue the trio of doom.
All right, you walk up to Hodgkins and tap him on the shoulder. Hodgkins looks at you. Whoa, what do you want?
I need you to do a little diversion so we can rescue some court members that are essentially in the ocean on the verge of freezing to death.
There are more survivors? God damn it, hang on a second. Making a U-turn, boys. Hold on, everybody! Okay, as he says that, he cranks the steering wheel to the left, and that boat does a hard U-turn right back in the water. And he points, he turns the bell, and he says, all right, where did you see him?
I'm gonna point him in the direction that I spotted him.
Okay, you point in the general direction of where they are, and he goes up. As you get closer, you can see them more clearly in the water. You don't need to make rolls to see that. And as he pulls up and slows the ship down a bit as you get closer. So you guys can now make rolls to climb up the side of the ship, and the guys that are on the ship can make rolls to help you.
You all look awful. Princess, your call. Should I heal them, or should we just, double down? We have more zombies.
We should probably heal them. If they die again, we'll just use them as zombies.
Excellent. I love it. Okay. So while they're climbing up, I'm going to maximize 2 cure wounds on both of them.
All right. So the 2 more injured ones are Cham and Raka, and the Griffin.
I cast healing spells on them, 24 hit points each.
That means it's going to be a +2 for everybody that's climbing. Cham, you make it up. Kane, you also still have an arrow in your foot, by the way.
Damn.
Okay, but that's also going to be an additional +2 because you're getting help from a couple other people unless you calculated that in. So that's going to be an 18. So yeah, you and Cham and Raka, you're going to have to roll to climb up there as well. So yeah, you are successfully able to get up onto the ship. Your Griffin is still in the water with 10 health. All right, Velnos, you're going to help. All right, 21, 17. So Kane, if you're going to help, you can roll. Vash, if you're going to help, you can roll. Arch, if you're going to help, you can roll.
I think I've made it quite clear on my stance on flea-ridden mongrels.
You just hate animals in general, don't you, Sam?
I do!
So you guys rolled high enough as a group to help the Griffin onto the boat. So the Griffin is on the boat. However, you're probably not going to be able to get much more on the boat since probably at weight capacity. So you guys are now all together on this fishing boat. And Hodgkins, again, makes a U-turn, although far less dramatic this time around, and begins chugging towards the mainland yet again. So basically what is happening is he knows where he's going, so he's going to a place called Sea Serpent Harbor. It's on the southern shore of the Calgar continent. So that is where he is taking you. He states that he knows a lot of people there because he's done a lot of fishing work and stuff there in the past. So there are going to be places where you're going to be able to hide out.